In this video, we'll be talking about how to download and install Revit 2015. Once you've downloaded it, you will see a startup screen like this, and in the next video we will get into actually utilizing the software. If you have any questions, please contact your Revit supervisor or other 3D.TI staff member for assistance. Okay, so I've brought up a web browser here and went to Google, and I typed in Autodesk Student Software. I find this is the easiest way to get to the Autodesk education community as opposed to having to try and remember and type in a web address. The first option under the ads should be this autodesk.com education free software all. So go ahead and click on that link, and it will take you to this website here. It may look a little bit different depending on any updates that Autodesk has provided. However, there are some areas that should look pretty much the same. The first one we're going to look at is the sign in up here. Now, if you already have a Autodesk Education Community or other Autodesk user ID, you should be able to just go ahead and sign in from here. And you'll click on that. You can put in your user ID or email address and your password. I typically suggest checking the Keep Me Signed In button, and you can go ahead and sign in. If you do not already have an Autodesk ID, you'll need to go to the Need an Autodesk ID and follow the prompts from there. When asked about your education status, tell them that you are a student at 3D Training Institute, and the website is www.3dtraining.com. Because 3D.TI is a registered Autodesk training provider, it will allow you to have access to the Autodesk training community. So once you have your Autodesk user ID and password, you can go ahead and sign in. Once you've done so, you should see your name appear in the top right hand corner. From there you can scroll down and you'll see a list of all of the various applications from Autodesk that are available. And we want to scroll down until we find Revit. Now you'll notice under Revit there are 4 different options here. There's Revit, Revit Architecture, Revit MEP, and Revit Structure. The Revit Architecture, Revit MEP, and Revit Structures are carryovers from version 2012 and earlier, when Revit was divided up into separate software for each discipline. As of Revit 2013, they combined all of those together, and there are interface options within the program to turn on or off different tools. So because we're downloading Revit 2015, we want to go to the Revit alone, and we'll click on that. From here, we can look at the system requirements. Please make sure that your computer does meet the minimum requirements. When you click on this, it should open up a new window. You'll want to look at the system requirements for Autodesk Revit 2015 and make sure that your computer meets these minimum entry-level configuration. Ideally, your computer will meet these performance for large and complex model requirements. Please review these and verify that your computer meets at least the minimum requirements, hopefully these more performance-based requirements. If you do not meet the performance-based requirements, please contact somebody at 3D.TI using the Revit help at my3dti.com web address. Again, that is Revit help at my3dti.com, and let us know that your computer does not currently meet those minimum requirements, and we will attempt to work with you to either find a way around it or to point you in the direction of possible ways of upgrading your computer so that they do meet those requirements. Once you've verified that your computer meets those requirements, we'll go ahead and close these tabs and come back here to the download. You can go ahead and read about some of the various options, including Autodesk 360, which we'll talk about more in class in later videos. And you'll also want to make sure that we go ahead and get started here with a free 3-year license. Your license period may be shorter as students. Because I'm an instructor, I get a little bit longer of a license period. Step 1, we'll go ahead and sign in or register. This should already be checked as you have successfully signed in at the beginning up here. The next option will be to select the software you want. We're going to go ahead and select Revit 2015. As of the recording of this video, Revit 2015 is the most current version. However, when you view this software, there may be newer versions of Revit available. Please do not install newer versions of Revit unless instructed to do so by your supervisor. So we'll select Revit 2015. We'll choose our language of English and our operating system of Windows 64-bit. Next, option 3 should go ahead and fill in. Autodesk will automatically send you an email with your serial number and product key in it. So you do not need to write these down. However, it's not a bad idea to go ahead and do that. Once done, you can go ahead and click on this Install Now button. If you end up having trouble with the install, you can also try clicking this button next to Install Now, and it will give you a couple of different options, and try the browser download. Please keep in mind the browser download is a much slower download option, so it will take longer to install. But the Autodesk website has occasionally had issues with software using the Install Now option. But ideally, use Install Now and you should see this Autodesk licensing show up. You'll need to select I accept and read through all of these license and service agreements and install. You should see something about opening an Autodesk Revit 2015 executable exe file, and you'll want to go ahead and save that file. Depending on your web browser, the options and how you open that download may be a little bit different, but once it is done downloading, you should be able to find that from your drop-down list. Go ahead and select the file, and you may get a request from Windows saying a user account control. Do you want to allow the following program to make changes to this computer? And the answer to this question would of course be yes. Once you've selected that, you should see a window come up that looks like this, where you can tell Revit 2015 to go ahead and install. Now, because I have already installed Revit 2015 on this system, my options are a little bit different. 99% of the time you can proceed with the standard installation options and installation path. If you want to be a little bit more customized, before installation you can select each of these different components and select different parts of it to install or not install. In my case, for example, under Revit 2015, I told it not to include the US metric library. I'm an Imperial person. All the projects I'm going to be working on are going to be Imperial units, so I don't need to have the metric units, the metric unit library installed as well. It's up to you if you want to do the same thing. Like I said, 99% of the time, using the default setup is going to be the preferred option. Also, I do recommend that you select the Revit 2015, Revit Content Libraries, and Autodesk Material Library during the installation. This will give you all of the materials that you will need for the upcoming coursework. It's your decision if you want to install the BIM 360 add-on for Revit 2015. We'll talk more about BIM 360 in future videos. There's no great benefit or disadvantage to having it for our workflow, but if you want to kind of play around with some of the advanced online options that Autodesk has with Revit, it may not be a bad thing to include. Additionally, it doesn't take up a whole lot of space on your computer, and it doesn't run unless you tell it to, so it's a nice little add-on to include. Now, once you have everything to your liking, you can go ahead and install. Again, I've already installed Revit 2015 on my system, so I do not have that option. So once Revit is installed, you can go ahead and open it up and start using it. In the next video, we will discuss how to open, create new files, save, and close files, as well as getting into some of the interface of the program. For now, have a good day, and we'll see you in the next video.